I've seen at the gym at David Lloyd's a couple of times. He's heavily pregnant. I spoke to her when she was 6 months pregnant, and then now I saw her about 2 weeks ago in the changing room. She was due in 3 weeks, and she booked an elective cesarean, a second elective cesarean, and she was with her son, who was like my son, and he was just crying. He was just upset. Help him stop crying. And I was trying everything in the changing room, and then eventually I just said maybe he's a bit allergic and maybe he's a bit anxious about the birth. And then he just suddenly stopped crying, and um, and then his mum just gave him a really big hug, and they just he sat in her lap, and they just gave a really big hug. But I was just thinking how brave she is, and how she's probably had her baby by now. And I hope if she did have a cesarean, that it went well. I just didn't really think it was my place to talk about vaginal birth after cesarean, but it's been like on my mind the whole time for the last few weeks. And I've been thinking, oh God, should I have said something about vaginal birth after cesarean, and how some sources say it's better for the baby. But then I just feel like if something had happened and it had gone wrong, I'd feel really bad for having given that advice. I mean, she knows I think I told her I had a natural birth. Well, not a natural birth, because I had pethidine, all the chemicals, all the instruments, and all the inductions, but had a partially physiological birth. Anyway, I just wanted to say I hope her birth went well, and I hope she's had a healthy baby, and I hope her son's okay after knowing his mother's having a cesarean section, because that must be so scary. But she's had one before, and her son looked really healthy, so I just thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and so I just hope it all went well, and I just hope she felt empowered to have made that decision based on her own wants and choices. And if she did, then that's really good for her. I just feel for her little boy. I just really felt for him. I think he was feeling the anxiety. And I just tried to reassure him that it would all be okay. So, and I feel like the amount of stress of all these different delivery types, like once the baby's in her arms, and her son will have a little brother, and it will all kind of make up for the trauma of his mum being sliced open down her abdomen. And I just had really mixed feelings about it, really, to be honest. Like I say, I didn't think it was my place to speak up. It didn't feel right, but I just did have really mixed feelings about it, thinking about it a lot. Like the day after we had that conversation, I was extremely emotional at home. The reason I was emotional was just thinking about how her son must feel about that. And I just couldn't, this is just my personal opinion, but I just couldn't help but think, like, women were put on this earth to have, and don't get me wrong, I don't know her medical history, and I don't know the reasons why she'd had the cesarean. It could be that she wasn't able to have a physiological birth. But I just couldn't help but think, women were born on this earth millions of years ago with biologies made to naturally deliver babies. Like, we never used to have pain relief. Women used to just push their babies out with no hospitals, no pain relief. Like this, in the Stone Age, cave women, they just birthed their babies. That was it. And then now there's all these options, and I just sort of thought, how amazing would it be like there are lots, hundreds of millions of mums out there who, like for example, Teresa Palmer is a good example to give. She's had 6 children. She's an actress in America, and she posted pictures on her Instagram of her with her husband and 5 children, and she just had a natural birth at home in her living room, and the pictures were amazing, and her children watched the birth, and she was smiling, and healthy baby, healthy 6 children, all good, all fine, all well, all dandy. I just couldn't help but like see the little boy's distress, and obviously I don't know, it could have been something else. But I just thought, wouldn't it be amazing if they had that experience instead? You know, I just feel like in Britain, you know, just finding out that stillbirths are at an all-time high, it's like I don't feel like I'm jabbering on without a cause to, because obviously we're not doing something right in Britain, because there's huge maternity failings. So I think it's worth a discussion. And I just thought, wouldn't that be amazing? Like, that would be an amazing, empowering day. Like, seeing the little boy seeing his mum, like, and how amazing her, like, motherly capabilities are to, like, create this baby. And, you know, it would just be such a bonding experience, such, like, a life-changing experience for him as well. But instead, you know, instead she was probably just wheeled down to the operating theatre. And don't get me wrong, that's still an incredibly brave way of giving birth. It is. It's probably more brave than having a vaginal birth. Like, probably way more brave than having a vaginal birth, and way more difficult. And the recovery is a lot longer. And don't get me wrong, her son would still look up at her and say, "Wow, look at my mum, how brave she is! Like, wow, she's just been like sliced open and had like gone a knife go through 10 layers of flesh to bring my little brother or sister into the world. How amazing is that?" And it is amazing. It's absolutely a phenomenal amazing. It's just a different kind of amazing, isn't it? Like, they're both amazing because both, I don't know. Like I say, I can't ignore how it made me feel. You know, afterwards when I got home, I was like an absolute mess. I was just crying all night. And I don't even know this woman, and I don't even know this little boy. I might not ever see them again. But I still, having my lived experience of a rebirth, you know, I pushed my baby out with the help of a vacuum, ventouse, and episiotomy, and I had chemicals to further along the contractions and help the contractions, and I didn't dilate for hours, and I was in labour for over 20 hours, and I was induced about 3 times with a membrane sweep with the hormone drip. But the moment I saw my baby for the first time, you know, it was amazing. You know, and it kind of did make all the suffering worthwhile. And also this mum, like, she was in such good shape. She was in such good shape. She was literally like a size 10, and I look at myself and I'm like, there's probably no way they'd allow me to have a natural birth. You know, they probably, at this weight, they probably wouldn't allow me, and it would probably be life threatening. I'd probably have to have a cesarean. So I don't know, it's just interesting to think about it, and like the family dynamics, and you know, for her recovery and stuff. And there was loads more I was thinking about it, but I didn't. I can't remember all of it. But I'd have to go back 3 weeks. I just hope she's had a healthy baby and she's okay. And I mean, you know, she had the cesarean before, and then there she was, like 3 years later, with another healthy baby on the way, not having put on 35 kilograms, with her healthy son beside her in the changing rooms, slightly upset. But all children get upset, you know, that doesn't mean anything. So why would you not have another one? Why would you not have another cesarean if you've had that outcome? You know? I mean, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know. I just don't know enough about it, really. It was just my thoughts. But like I said, I didn't say anything directly to her, but I would have loved to have found out more about her reasons. But this is what I mean. It's such a personal choice, you know, for women. Like, it's such a personal decision to make. And also for women who have a partner involved, it's like it's also partly their decision, which is fair, completely fair. And they have to think about how they operate as a personal, individual family. And like, I don't know if she was working full time or if her husband was and couldn't, you know, take the risks. And it's a personal decision. And I feel like my personal decision for me was that I really wanted a natural physiological birth. Um, and she wanted the opposite, and that is like. And I was in, you know, at Homerton, I spoke to another mom who'd booked in for an elective cesarean, and another mom who'd also booked in for an elective cesarean. I've spoken to a lot of women who've literally have been booked in for elective cesareans, pregnant women who've been booked in for elective cesareans. And I just find it so interesting how for some women that's the right decision for them, and for others like me, like I'm absolutely the complete opposite. But I still completely, fully respect their choices and their decisions. And everyone should really. I think that women should be free to birth however they want, and have the experience they want, because like they've obviously had their life experiences that have led them to make that decision, and you don't know what those are. You just don't know. Sometimes you don't know the whys around why people make decisions. You just have to just respect those decisions. And like it just felt right for me, and at the time, like when she told me she was due in 3 weeks, it just felt right for me at the time to just try and empower her with her decision that she'd made, rather than 3 weeks before she's due say, oh, have you heard about vaginal birth after cesarean? And like, and also I just didn't know enough. I haven't really googled enough of the benefits. I didn't really have a strong case to put forward apart from a few things I've heard. So I just think it's inspiring though to research all of these different options available. Because 1 in 4 women now are having caesarean sections in the UK. And I don't know what the statistics are around the outcome of those for mother, for baby. But it's something I'd like to do a lot more research around and like memorize the information, so that like if I ever come across another woman, either pregnant or not, who wants to discuss this with me, and if I feel it's the right time and place, then I am armed with the facts, and I'm armed with the information and the facts, rather than it being an emotional argument. It's like, here are the facts. So 9 out of 10 women have this outcome after a cesarean, 4 out of 10 women had this outcome after a VBAC, like 6 out of 10 women had this outcome after a assisted. And you have all the facts, you're armed with all the facts, and you just very calmly and very matter of factly give those facts, so that that person can then go away and do their own research and make their own decision. Because I think that's more persuasive than like just giving an opinion without at least having the facts, and then on a secondary basis knowing about that mother's reasons. And like, you know, I just hope she had I hope she had a good midwife. I hope she had someone who'd gone through all the different pros and cons of different modes of delivery with her. And yeah, she's got a really strong little boy. Yeah, it was just amazing seeing her with her son, a 37-month pregnant mother with her 4-year-old son, alone at the gym. It's something I'd not really seen before ever, actually. And I just can't think of a more I can't really think of a more perfect picture perfect postcard place for those 2 members of the family to be. And it's really good that her son was able to be open about how he was feeling, because it meant that literally like 10 mums in that changing room all rallied around and made him feel much, much better, which in turn would have made the mother feel much, much calmer and better, and in turn would have made her unborn baby feel much, much calmer and better. So yeah, it was just good all round, I think. Good all round. There's just so many, there's quite a few pregnant women I've seen in there at the health club who've then gone on to have their babies, and I've seen them with their babies. So there was another one there who told me before she was having a cesarean, and then I saw her the other day with her husband and the baby in her arms. She was suited and booted, looked fantastic, family looked great. So it obviously works for some people really, really well. But it's like, it still wouldn't change the fact that I personally wouldn't want that, ever really. And I feel like the problem is that sometimes people see positive outcomes of others and they assume that it applies to you. And like, however much I'm so pleased for them and so like in admiration of them and so in awe of these families who've made that choice and have had such a positive outcome, it doesn't change the fact that I would never want to have a cesarean section. And I do think it's important to bring this to people's attention, because sometimes no amount of persuasion will really change somebody's mind, but that doesn't mean that they can't still respect other people's decisions, even admire other people's decisions whilst not wanting the same for themselves. Um, and so be it. If so be it. Whatever that means for their lives, whether that means they'll never have what those people have because they don't do the same things. Sometimes it's like certain things are just non-negotiable, and for example, like somebody's faith, it's just non-negotiable. It's like, this is who I am, this is what I believe in. Please don't try and like indoctrinate me. You can discuss with me and inform me, and you can try and persuade me, and I love that. But please don't try and indoctrinate me to take on your faith, because this is like my identity and my life. And for these two mums, it's like, that's their lives, amazing families, amazing children, amazing lives. And I feel like, I'm happy for them without wanting to be them. And I also think that it's healthy to have these discussions, but so often I think when you're discussing like maternity issues, like a lot of women have had cesareans and a lot of women have had difficult labours or difficult pregnancies, and like, it is really hard to have these discussions because it's a very sensitive topic, but it's important. It's really important to have them, because like you can see from this Nottingham maternity review, something in this country is going really wrong in terms of maternity care. And like, so many mothers are suffering from that, from loss. And I think if we could discuss these things more, and each other's individual experiences more, which are so different, and also just respect like mothers and with their children who've made, for example, who've made decisions to have cesareans, just like completely respect that and like show curiosity rather than be judgmental about their choices, because I'm genuinely curious I would be curious, of course. I would never ask because I wouldn't feel like it was my place, but I would be fascinated to know what had led them to make that decision and how it went and what the outcome was, because I could always change my mind. I could always change my mind in the future, and I'd always be open to having my mind changed, while saying, at the moment, this is my standpoint, this is who I am. Um, you know, and I think it's good to have sometimes to be provoked to think in a different kind of way. So yeah, I don't know. I just find it quite interesting. Really interesting to think about. I just think that, I think for someone like myself, birth was like all and everything. But I think for like married women who have husbands and multiple children and jobs, I think they're more thinking about convenience and like how is it going to be after the baby there, and I think also having risk assessing it and thinking how can we make it so that there's the least amount of uncertainties as possible. And I suppose with an elective cesarean, you know when you're booked in for, you know you're going to be under general anaesthesia, you know exactly how the procedure is going to be carried out. And although there can be risks in an elective, in any kind of cesarean, there's always risks. But, you know, that's their decision. Oh, you're taking me down? Do I just wait here?
I'm going to let them know that you're here.
Okay.
Hello, Lydia.
Yes, that's me.
Hello, love. Thanks a lot.
Hi.
Lydia, we just have to ask you, do you have a pacemaker?
I don't
Heart
know.
pacemaker. How are you on your feet? Are you okay
I'm
walking?
okay on my feet. Yeah, I can walk.
Yeah, let me just get rid of that.
Okay.
Put your feet forward for me.
Okay.
Right, if you want to come this way.
Okay. I'm through.
You go right to the left.
Left.
Right to
Okay.
the left.
Okay.
This
I
is
might need to use the bathroom. Is that okay?
Yeah, just walk.
Sorry, I just have a bit
Go
of
down,
bladder
this is a long scan.
issues. Yeah, I've got some bladder issues.
I'll give you that, Lydia.
Sorry.
Bob that way.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're not flashing your
Thank
gun.
you. Thank you. So just about to go for the MRI. I'm about to use the toilet, so I'm